Hang on. So, see, I think this is their missed opportunity. Your anathema could be a necessary component to doing your edict. You heal by taking life, and taking life leaves behind a certain matter of unlife that may come to be. This creates a dynamic you can play with. Go nuts with healing, but then suffer the consequences of pushing everyone towards unlife, or creating unlife elsewhere for your own gain. But it's just a not D&D game. Bubonic one, mince words well enough and blur the line with partial truths, plus no god is going to look over the shoulders of every cleric. They simply aren't that omnipotent. I don't know, that seems to go against what omnipotent is. And Bubonic, you're making an excuse to lie in for gray areas to a god, or I guess a goddess here, of truth and light and fire and, you know, all this revelation stuff. Corda's eating popcorn, enjoying this. King says they don't need it. They don't need to it themselves if they have an entire legion sitting around the afterlife. Bubonic one, are you going to police your own actions 100% of the time and blabber on yourself if you make the smallest of mistakes? King says, if you're my cleric, Bubonic, I'd have at least one imp on your shoulder at all times. Didn't wash hands. Wore white after Labor Day. Let someone else take out the trash. Again. Mike Delta, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Wouldn't have to. I played a righteous flame-wielding zealot of Lathander very well. Oh, and I missed a shout-out to Lord Abaris. Lord Abaris, thank you for the follow as well.
Torog's holy symbol is a bit suggestive. Well, part of it also has to do with the fact that it's not color.
The dwarven deity called the Father of Creation is the god of forge, protection, and strategy. Well, yeah, so, I mean, it might look like an upside-down Warhammer, but I guess I could see how it could look like something else. See, again, you know, with Torag here, intentionally create inferior craft work. You know, are you going to have a DM that's going to be, you know, very petty and, you know, put you in some weird contrived situation? Or are you going to go out of your way to explicitly narrate yourself making something inferior on purpose? So I like the I like the concept of anathema. I just think that some of these anathema come across like Butters playing Professor Chaos, hatching all of these evil traps and tricks and schemes, and then just sitting back and waiting for chaos to occur.
Yeah, but then you find out the Simpsons did it first.
Mike Delta, hello. Oh, those are some very cute emotes. I'm here because Journeyman told me you can't teach this noob how to D&D. I'm a little intimidated because I'm bad at reading. Hope I'm not interrupting important stuff. No, you're not. Mike, you are very welcome. The current conversation, we're looking at Pathfinder Second Edition, the playtest of it. But if you do want to learn how to play D&D, Mike Delta, we very much can help teach you how to do that. They weren't creative. They weren't creative for this faction. Are you talking about the video game? What Warframe you're playing, Corida? King says we need to make a genocide device, but we need to make it work only once. Cleric Garrett, you're the only one who can make the main component flimsy enough to break after the first use. Yeah, right. And suddenly, the mad scheme falls apart. Because no, I refuse to intentionally create inferior craftwork. No! Foiled again!
But at that point, though, would it be poorly created because it's flimsy, or because they need it flimsy, would it be masterfully created?
Ooh, philosophized. Mike Delta, I generated a link for you to our Discord. You are welcome to join us there, because we do have workshops, kind of like what Kramer and I are talking in right now. And you can find a lot of our past content and a lot of good advice, and you can ask for advice in our mentor network that we have available on our Discord as well. So what you'll get, you came in at a very interesting time, Mike Delta, because we're not talking about D&D rules specifically or mechanics. We are definitely talking about concepts of role-playing and storytelling and behavior and mentalities that you can find. It's not all the time, but behaviors and mentalities you can find at a role-playing table. All right, Mike, thank you for doing so. Just make sure your Discord handle matches your Twitch username. That way it makes it easier. Thank you very much. And at any point in time, Mike, if you have a question about what we're presenting or something different, you are not interrupted. Just shout it out, okay? And we'll do our best to answer that question for you. Hey, Coffee Cat, good to see you. King says, so you need to predefine inferior craftwork, because maybe you make a hammer, but Steve makes a better hammer, and now you've made an inferior craftwork.
Yeah, that one is another gray area, isn't it?
Diadems has the died. Oh no, what happened, Diadems? Alright. Well, I may be munching on salsa, but we will continue with our examination of Pathfinder Second Edition. When last we left, we were coming up to the skill section. Yeah, diadems. An 8 or a 13. And that was to take over the that was to get out of the bandit gang. And yeah, disadvantage 8 + 1 is 9, so the bandit gang takes off with you, diadems. The actions, activities, free actions. Actually, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we all can read this a little better. The actions, activities, free actions, and reactions you can perform with a given skill are sorted into those you can use untrained, and those that require you to be at least trained in the skill, as shown in Table 4.1. The untrained and trained uses of a skill, or of each skill, appear in separate sections within the skill's description. Ooh. So we have to memorize how a skill is, how every skill is used in 2 different ways.
Yup.
Anyone can use a skill's untrained uses unless someone's circumstance, condition, or effect bars them from doing so. You can use trained uses only if you're at least trained in that skill and no circumstance, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes using a skill in a specific situation might require you to have a higher proficiency rank than what's listed on the table. For existence, even though a high-level barbarian untrained in Arcana could reliably use Arcana to recall knowledge regarding the breath weapons of the various colors of dragons, the GM might decide that recalling knowledge about the deeper theories behind magical energy of a dragon's breath weapon might be something beyond the scope of the barbarian's largely utilitarian and anecdotal knowledge about how to fight dragons. The GM decides whether a task requires a particular proficiency rank, from trained all the way up to legendary. As you advance in level, you'll gain a type of general feat called a skill feat, which often grants you a new use of a skill. Skill feats always have the skill trait. These feats appear in Chapter 5. Every skill is tied to an ability modifier. Skulking the Dex, yep. Etc. so forth. If the GM deems it appropriate, she may have you use a different ability modifier for a skill check or when determining your skill DC. Mike Delta. Well, I'm actually in a little trouble because I have a group of friends who want to play D&D, but we don't have a DM. So I said that I'll do it because no one offered. Now I have a month to understand. Mike, we will have you. You stick with us, Mike Delta. We will have you up to snuff as a DM inside of a month. I promise you. Stick with us. You talk to us in the channel. You engage with us on Discord. We can help you plot a homebrew campaign, or we can kind of hold your hand through a module or some other pre-written source material to get you going as a DM. Do not worry about it. You have a month is plenty of time.
The Matty Morg's guarantee: 5 days to become a master DM or your money back.
Yeah, exactly, Evelyn.
Also, hello, I'm actually in here.
Ah!
Hi. Sorry, I'm eating salsa.
That's okay. Yeah, the joke is you didn't pay anything, so you're not going to get any money back. But thanks, Greta.
Well, kind of a party. Not that there's especially meant to be one, but yes. Alright, let's see. Skill checks and skill DCs. When you're actively using a skill, usually by engaging in one of its uses, you'll often attempt a skill check by rolling a d20 and adding your skill modifier. Yep, that's standard procedure. To determine your skill modifier, add your ability modifier for that skill's key ability, your proficiency modifier for that skill, and any other bonuses and penalties that may apply. So here we come to... it's a little bit of... I mean, I don't even think we can call it algebra. But just keep this handy-dandy formula in mind every time that you want to check a single skill. Your modifier is your ability modifier plus proficiency modifier plus circumstance bonus plus conditional bonus plus item bonus plus circumstance penalty plus conditional penalty plus item penalty plus untyped penalty. Did you get all that? Now, this is the quick, efficient way to roleplay through content. I'm being a little sarcastic. I take it with a grain of salt.
This is exactly the perfect example why 5th edition moved toward the advantage-disadvantage system instead of stacking circumstance, bonus, and penalties.
Yep. I agree. This is, I mean, now look, once more, in case you didn't get this, make sure that you're not slowing down the game for everyone else, as this is a game of skills and skill challenges and checks. Your skill modifier is Ability modifier plus proficiency modifier plus circumstance bonus plus conditional bonus plus item bonus plus circumstance penalty plus conditional penalty plus item penalty plus untyped penalty. Did you get that? I want to make sure that that's ingrained. This is a very easy... This is arithmetic, everyone. Come on.
I think you should do it one more time.
All right, one more time with a mouthful
Wow.
of chip and salsa. Your skill modifier for any check that can come up over the course of the game several times in a game that the beginning of the book tells you don't hold it up for other people is as follows. Ability modifier plus proficiency modifier plus circumstance bonus plus conditional bonus plus item bonus plus circumstance penalty plus conditional penalty plus item penalty plus untyped penalty.
Or, for those of you who don't have all those penalties and bonuses, level plus proficiency plus training modifier plus ability modifier.
Don't you dare simplify this.
It's why I'm here.
How dare you, sir? How dare you? Diadems, oh, you came back as a male dwarf monk. Solid combo, not too bad. I mean, King, if you're piling dirt on top of a dwarf, that's like a bath. Like, they just kind of roll around like birds in dirt and gravel to get the other dirt off. And they get the fresh dirt on.
The fresh dirt.
Okay. So, as Kramer has pointed out, it doesn't look as scary as this, although it can be as scary as this. Sometimes the DC of the skill check is listed in the skill's use itself. Other times the GM sets the DC of the skill check using the guidelines in Chapter 10 Game Mastering, although you'll probably find out that your GM pulls numbers out of his or her butt on the fly. Because ain't nobody got time to cross-reference this stuff. You can aid a skill check. Sometimes the GM might allow you to use a skill to help another character perform a task more effectively. In some situations, you can simply perform one or more of a skill's uses to grant a circumstance bonus to another character's check for a task they're attempting. Other times, aiding in the ally skill check requires more exact timing, necessitating the aid reaction. So you have two types of help you can offer. And, I mean, I say this factually, I say it a bit tongue-in-cheek, because you can't simply help someone. You have to choose what kind of help and what kind of action that you are providing. And, again, level of detail, it's all there. Mechanics, things to cross-reference and check out, it's all there. If you want to run a game smoothly and you don't have this stuff memorized, we are now cross-referencing. We're jumping to page 307, and we're on 141, in order to discover how you can just simply help someone. And kind of as Ivlon snuck in there, this is why 5th edition just simply said, we don't care, you get advantage and disadvantage. Just shut up and start playing role-playing and just go with it. Maybe that's a pessimistic view as well. Although I like the advantage and disadvantage system. Coffee Cat!
What's up, Matty? Have my bits.
Hey, thank you! Now, Coffee Cat, did you want either of these, with the 1,000 bits, do you want either of these boxes of minis? I can pull the rare or the large uncommon out of one of them and send it over to you. Armor and skills. Some armor imposes a penalty on specific skill checks and DCs. If a creature is wearing armor that imparts a skill penalty, that penalty is applied to dexterity and strength-based skill checks and skill DCs, unless the use has the attack trait. Check penalties from armor are detailed on page 176. Okay, so here... You'd like that? Okay, Coffee Cat. Do you want left? Or do you want right? Which one would you like, left or right? I got the handy-dandy bone handle pocket knife out. And we'll take a quick break from Pathfinder here to crack open a box here for Coffee Cat.
Left.
You want to go with left. Okay, here we go. What's Coffee Cat gonna get? And so, by the way, Coffee Cat, make sure you send me a name and an address in a private message as to where I can send the miniature. And also, I want to bring up the rarity list to make sure that I'm getting the right one here for you.
Star. Pretty sure they use Circle Diamond Star.
The old ones did. I don't know. I don't think the new ones do. Ooh, okay. That's a thing. That's a thing for sure. Well, Coffee Cat, I hope you like things, because there's a thing. Alright.
Is it Thing Adam's Family?
Is it thing 1 or thing 2?
Neither, because those two gentlemen are in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and they don't make action figures of them, unfortunately.
Yet.
Alright. So, first things first. We have a Grimlock. If it'll focus on something other than my hand. Come on, camera. Come on, camera.
Ooh.
Alright, well, this Grimlock apparently has some sort of distortion field around it, making it very blurry and even harder to hit than a normal Grimlock. Next up, we have a Lizard Folk Fighter. Oh, that one focuses, sure. A Lizard Folk Fighter. I'm gonna have to check the rarity of this one. Hang on. This one is actually a monster that you can fight in our Underdark adventure. Oh, that's not telling me what I need to know. Hang on. This is what... Oh, yeah, this is what I need. D&D. Let's go to Icons of the Realms. This is the Rage of Demons. And we're going to go down to this happy camper. Okay, no, he is a normal uncommon. You can fight him in our Underdark adventure. This is the Quaggoth. The Quaggoth. And now, Coffee Cat Comics. This is your miniature. Aha. So, as you can see, they included some kind of extra, I don't know, like, there's this clear plastic base, or, you know, like, there's a base, I don't know, maybe it's broken, it has this clear tube on it, whatever it is, it's Garbaggio. I'll throw it out for you if you want. Just kidding, you have a large, uncommon Djinn figure. D-J-I-N-N, a Djinn. Very blue, very Tornadus looking from Pokemon. Has a nice big scimitar, a wonderful turban. But there you go, Coffee Cat Comics. You are the proud owner of a Djinn.
Yay!
And it does have a flying base. So all you have to do is let me know to whom and where to send that, and I will get it out in the mail. Thank you very much. It's Robin Williams Genie after hulking out at the gym for a month. All right. A replacement joins the field, although if anyone bids on the right one, you can see what Coffee Cat would have gotten, and you will instead receive. Diadems, I have 4 boxes of Rage of Demons left. I have these 2, and I have 2 replacement boxes that are left for it. Coffee Cat, yeah. Because the shipping is already included with your initial purchase of the 1,000 bits, if you want something else off the list here in our fundraising area, right here, it would just be 50 bits plus an amount of bits to cover whatever the extra part is. And it's all listed here.
He's
Okay,
getting the
I'll
right
vacuum you
box.
the right box.
Coffee Cat, this could have been your fate. In some other, in some other timeline, in some other, nega reality, you two would have switched it up. And Diadems would have received the Djinn, and you, instead, Coffee Cat, would have received the following. Ooh. I don't know if I've seen one of those before. I'm gonna have to check and see what that even is. All right, let's start with the little guys first here. Okay, so first up for you, Diadems, this is an uncommon piece. But this is a Drow Archmage. A Drow Archmage. Next up of the smaller minis inside the box is a Wood Elf Archer. A Wood Elf Archer. So he has a bow at the ready, has a nice quiver on his back. And then, lastly but not leastly, this one's kind of turned inside out on itself. Oh, hey, little guy. We have a kobold guard. A kobold guard. A fun little gribbler there. Oh, that's what it is. Gotcha. All right. Diadems, this is your piece. Diadems, you have another enemy that you can fight in our adventures. That being a large carrion crawler.
Ooh.
A large carrion crawler. Look at that guy, huh?
So cute.
Doggy.
Including these two, there are only 3 boxes remaining. And that one has a glare. Alright, let's fix that. There we go.
That's rarer than the Jin, apparently.
Well, in the set, they are both large uncommons. I don't know if they have subtleties, you know, like uncommon 1 and uncommon 2 or something like that. But that is... Those are your pulls. And so, gentlemen, for those of you who dueled for minis...
You'll also take a fire elemental.
Ah. Okay. So you want the large uncommon fire elemental from Elemental Evil, correct? I'll make sure to pull that for you when we finish up. Oh, gotcha, Bubonic. So one has a greater price. It's just that the rarity is the same. Okay, no problem, sir. Those 2 figures will be out in the mail. If there's anything else you did want to get off of Le Menu, let me know, because it would just be 50. You've already met the baseline shipping. Same with you, Diadems. You've already met the base shipping. So any figure would be 50 cents plus whatever the standard price for it would be. Thank you very much for that. And if there's anyone else out there who wants to bid, there are 3 miniature boxes left. Okay. So here are the skills, their key ability, and their uses, trained and untrained. This is a lot of information. Acrobatics, to balance, escape, grab edge, maintain balance, squeeze, and tumble through. And as all of these are capitalized, and they have a parenthetical phrase after them, they are all mechanics, it looks like. If you're trained in acrobatics, you can maneuver in flight. Arcana, recall knowledge as an action. You can borrow an arcane spell. Identify magic, learn an arcane spell, read magic. And we can go down the line. I don't want to go over every single skill. Or heck, I don't know. There's only one page of skills. So maybe I will. Athletics, break, grapple, break open, climb, grapple, high jump, long jump, shove, swim, trip. Or you can disarm as an action if you are trained in athletics. Repair or craft. Create a diversion, impersonate, or lie. Or, if you're trained, you can perform a feint. Diplomacy can be used for gathering information, making an impression, or making a request. And there's no... I guess there's no benefit in being trained in diplomacy. I mean, you get a higher... I guess you get a higher plus, but there's nothing specific. Intimidation, you can demoralize or coerce. Again, being proficient at it doesn't grant you anything extra. Lore, you can recall knowledge or practice a trade. Administer first aid with medicine, treat a disease or poison. Although, depending on what level they are, there's a lot of magic that just gets rid of that stuff. I guess it's not bad having it in there in case you have a low or no magic party. Nature is based off of wisdom, and that's something I haven't seen since 3rd edition. Since nature and religion went over to intelligence. Command an animal, handle an animal, recall knowledge. And then you can identify magic or learn a primal spell. Occultism, you can recall knowledge. So I guess occultism is history? I don't know. You can identify magic, learn an occult spell, or read esoterica. Read esoterica.
Well, we found the skill necessary for Cthulhu Mythos.
Exactly. And it's bards who get it. Ha 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 ha. Performance. Well, you can perform or stage a performance if you're trained. Religion is wisdom, recall knowledge. Identify magic, learn a divine spell, read scripture. Society is intelligence-based, recall knowledge, subsist on the streets. Or you can create a forgery or decipher writing if you're trained. Stealth is a dex check, conceal an object, hide, or sneak. You get no bonuses for being trained. Survival, you can sense direction and survive in the wild. Or you can cover your tracks or track, well, you can track yourself if you're trained in it. Survival, sense direction, and survive in the wild. Oh no, I already did that. Lastly is thievery. Palm an object, steal an object, or you can disable a device or pick a lock. Well, hi Zerby. Hello to you. Welcome. Diadems, Nightmatty in chat. You have a day of travel. Sleep well, Diadems, and I will get that figure out to you in the mail. Thank you very much. You could always call for a skill rolled with a different stat. Yeah, it did open up. It said, look, the majority of the time it's probably going to be based on this. But your GM is appropriate, may call for you to roll something else. You are correct. How do I feel about this section?
Well, it's a lot better, in my opinion, than, again, Pathfinder 1/35 saying, if you don't have ranks in this skill, you cannot use it.
Are there redundancies in 1st edition Pathfinder where spot, search, and listen are different skills?
No. It's all one thing. It's perception.
Okay. I'm glad they at least condensed that. And I don't know if I'm necessarily seeing any redundancies in... I mean, you might say, well, Arcana and Occultism, but Occultism is its own kind of magic. And if nothing else, if you want to learn an occult spell, you have to be good in Occultism. But aside from that, I think everything seems rather split apart and has its own uses. And yes, compared to what you said, Kramer, I would say that it is an improvement from Pathfinder 1 to Pathfinder 2. Although, I guess it's still a little glaring for someone who's been blinded by the simplicity of 5th edition D&D, that here's a whole chart on specific uses of a skill, and whether or not if you're trained or untrained in it, and if you can do anything at all, even if you are trained. And yeah, Bubonic One does say that Perception in Pathfinder 2 is also the bonus to Initiative.
You haven't been here for most of the overview. Is this edition simplifying it a bit? It's simplifying some things, and some would say overcomplicating others. But at the same time, the overcomplications mean more customization because there's significantly more feats.
Yes, I would say that this is a very custom heavy. This is a very custom heavy rule set. So you can micromanage a ton of aspects of your character from your, well, it's not a race, it's an ancestry, if we're using the verbiage. From your ancestry to your class. Your background is kind of static of all things. Yeah, your race, I'm sorry, your ancestry and your class have a ton of options for you. Yeah, well, Coffee, I mean, being able to pick and choose, this is giving you a buffet of options. I'm saying that it is, English, common, do I speak it? I'm not saying that in a disparaging fashion. There are many options in this edition. This is just straight up inarguable. If you like options, if you like tables, if you like this kind of level of micromanaging your character, you know, Pathfinder Second Edition or First, they're not the first role-playing games to offer that kind of style. And for many people, they like that minutia of character creation. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you all have a different opinion than I do, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, that is A-okay. Because we all look at different things, we all value different things. Secret checks. In some circumstances, you will not know whether you succeeded at a skill check. If a skill check has the secret trait, the GM rolls the check for you and informs you of the effect without revealing the result of the roll or the degree of success. The GM rolls secret checks when your knowledge about the outcome is imperfect, like when you're searching for a hidden creature or object, attempting to deceive someone, translating a tricky bit of ancient text, or remembering some piece of lore. This way, you as the player don't know things that your character wouldn't. More information on secret checks can be found in Chapter 9. Downtime skill activities. Some skill uses have the downtime trait. These activities can be used only when you have a lot of time on your hands, usually a day or more. If you're not sure whether you have the time to use one, ask your GM. Signature skills. Your background, class, and some other abilities list several skills that you are especially good at. These are called your signature skills. Over time, you can increase your proficiency rank in these skills to Master or Legend. Conversely, you are typically limited to a maximum proficiency rank of Expert in non-signature skills. Coffee Cat says 5e is doing a lot to create variance too, and I like that it creates diversity in races and classes. It very much can. You know, I find that's I actually find that's refreshing in Pathfinder, despite the fact that there are a lot of options. And as something that I tipped my hand a little bit about yesterday, there's a personal project I'm working on that even before we, started reading over this. Journeyman 1029, thank you so much for the host and welcome. Welcome to Pathfinder Second Edition Playtest. But there is a document I'm putting together that is going to be doing something similar in concept for 5th edition, and I would love your all's feedback on it when I finish it. Yeah, J-Man and friends are here, Coffee Cat. Thank you all very much. Exactly, Bubonic One. Here, I'll even throw a couple of those up here too. Hi, Journey. We are continuing our exploration of Pathfinder Second Edition Playtest. Yes. If any of you have J-Man emotes, go ahead and give him a spam as a warm welcome to he and the others from his art stream. Try see, if you didn't see his artwork earlier, I mean, look, you know his artwork. He's doing the work on the Lamentations of the Flame Princess module. It is looking very, very good. It is looking really good. It's like he's been doing art for years and years and years, and has developed a natural talent and, you know, network connections and, you know, all this other, you know, purely coincidental stuff that anyone can do on day one. Oh, you're in a group that plays the first Pathfinder. Well, Journey, we're currently looking at the skills, and we're comparing Second Edition Playtest to First Edition Pathfinder, 5th Edition D&D, or any other systems for which we may have nostalgia goggles for. Oh, actually, J-Man, did you have a chance yet to turn me into a creepy clown? I wanted to ask that, and I'm like, oh, I want to see what an evil Maddie would look like. Because I don't get to, because I just get blackout furious anytime I go evil. Oh, not yet. No problem, J-Man. I'm not trying to ego surf on your project. Yep. It's your project, man. That's right, Bubonic One. I will be creepy clown Maddie. The gist of the Lamentation for the Flame Princess module that J-Man is illustrating is Satan has talked to this group of clowns and has asked them to spread the plague, and they are very happily doing so while being immune to it themselves. And so Journeyman was kind enough to reach out to his community, and you know, I hang out there every now and again, and he asked that I send in a couple pictures, and I swear I eventually got around to doing it. And you will see creepy clown Maddie in some form or fashion. Yeah, all his clowns have been... Oh, they look great. I'll love them. And, you know, look... Sometimes I don't have to just wear makeup. Like, if you want to do creepy effects, and, you know, this is something, you know, if Macabre Derek is in here, he can give you really good lessons in working the camera. But if you ever want to do something, like, really fun or, like, you know, very creepy or something like that, you can do it through... You don't even need wigs and makeup. You just do, you know, something like... And there you go. Jade, oh yeah, Derek's character Jade is very Derek goes he goes out of his way to really get into the Jade character. Yep. Let's see. Oh, was I too exuberant and effervescent in my laugh, Zuler Pie? Diog, and you can do that on a book illustration too if you shake the book. Yeah, exactly. So you just have to not tell yourself you're going to do it, and while you're reading a book, you just instantly go, ha 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 ha, and then you scare yourself. Each of the following entries describes one of the skills in the game. The title for the entry provides the skill's name, followed by that skill's key ability in parentheses. A brief description of the skill is followed by a list of the actions, activities, free actions, and reactions you can attempt if you're untrained in the skill. Those are followed by the actions, activities, free actions, and reactions you can perform if you're at least trained in that skill. Yeah, we got that. Acrobatics. Okay, so now we're getting into... this takes one of your 3 actions on your turn. This is a free action if it's hollow. This is a reaction if it's pointing outwards. Like this. I have a bit of an evil laugh. I have so many plans for Mordecai. Evil grin. You know, sometimes you got to get that very throaty. It starts like it's like rolling thunder. That. And you kind of give that wheeze at the end. Okay, so now we assign further mechanics to, and I'm not saying this in a sarcastic manner, we are assigning further mechanics in how you can invoke every one of the skills following. Acrobatics, as one of your actions, you can move across a narrow surface or uneven ground by attempting an acrobatics check against the DC of the narrow surface or uneven ground. You start this action while in a square that contains a narrow surface, uneven ground, or another similar feature. You are always flat-footed while on a narrow surface or uneven ground. Success, you move up to your speed across the narrow surface or uneven ground, treating as difficult terrain. Critical success, you move up to your speed across the narrow surface, treating it as normal. Failure, you must stay stationary, wasting the action, or you fall. If you fall, your turn ends, and a critical failure, you fall and your turn ends. How about an evil sob? An evil sob.
Oh.
What would an evil sob be?
I don't know.
Kramer, you don't know any evil SOBs?
I got a few DMs I could list.
I think we all can think of a couple evil SOBs in our lives. Diog, I can think of an evil sob. I might be able to reproduce it. It wouldn't have the effect. As you know, Mark Hamill did the voice of the Joker for the longest time in Batman the Animated Series and throughout the Arkham games. In one of the Arkham games, the Joker leaves a voicemail on Batman's, I don't know, bat phone or something, and he sings Only You. And during that song, the Joker's rendition of Only You, he has kind of an evil sob-sounding noise. Like, you're not sure if he's laughing or crying. That... And the Joker's also an evil SOB, so you get a 2-for-1. Bubonic, you won that contest. You can try to escape. Success, critical failure. By the way, if you're new here and you're wondering, wait, a critical success. If you roll a 20, or you in Pathfinder 2e, if you are 10 or above, the DC of whatever you're doing, and that also counts as a critical. Whether it's an attack, a skill check, or whatnot. And you know, that's not necessarily a bad homebrew that you could import into D&D 5th edition if you really wanted to. I don't think that really would upset the balance of anything in 5th ed.
The critical success, critical failure thing was actually a homebrew rule in Pathfinder 1st edition.
Ah, so now they just made it, they canonized it.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm not going to go through every condition of every skill and every level of training of every skill that has a condition that allows you to do something or not, depending on your training. Though, starting on 143, it does begin going over this, and for every one of the skills here, it'll give you the symbol that is, it'll give you the symbol that it is representative of on your turn, the name, what type of action. For instance, we have a manipulate action or a move action. There's a trigger to being able to use the reaction of grab edge. And there's a requirement that goes along with it. If any of you are familiar with D&D 4th Edition, and you're new here, Pathfinder Second Edition Playtest has kind of moved in the, here's a bunch of abilities that have standardized formatting and language. Maybe you could print them out as cards and put them in like a 3x3 sheet or something. And then they have various degrees of success, or critical success, failure, critical failure. Maintain balance, you can squeeze, tumble through, acrobatics, and so here's what you can do if you're trained. And in the idiom of Pathfinder, as I'm discovering more and more, you just get so many options that are out there for you. And so here, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 5, 6. You can do 7 different mechanical, like invoked mechanical things with acrobatics at different points in time. If you aren't trained, then you have 6. And so it is up to you as the player to memorize all the 6 things that you can do, or 7, with the acrobatic skill, and when you can use them as their mechanics of the game. For some of you, I would probably fall in this camp. My eyes just start crossing, and I just sort of like, blah, as I see all of these mechanics and all of the triggers and the reactions, when instead I would just love to ask, can I roll acrobatics to hang onto the ledge? And maybe that's the same thing as actually writing out a power card that goes through the minutia of how you trigger a ledge holding session. Here it is. Everything is here for you. If you are a methodical person and you love customization, or you like knowing tidbits of info and all this other stuff, or if you are trying to, I guess, min-max and you're like, well, you should obviously take acrobatics because you can take 7 relatively important mechanical and roleplay skills out of it as compared to this other skill which can be used primarily in these fashions. This then is a system for you, and it would be a lot easier to make all of those comparisons and slotting in and out of abilities and running numbers, because there are actually numbers for it. It does seem micromanagey, Coffee Cat, but look, I may have a bias towards the simplicity of 5th edition. I still do see a lot of interesting things in this edition, and I still am trying to approach it with an open mind. I may make a sarcastic quip about Pathfinder 2e. I've been doing the same thing for 5th edition D&D, and if you want, we can get into other systems as well, because, you know, we could tear into anything. But, I don't know, Kramer, would you say that Pathfinder is a micromanagement game? Or like an accounting minigame?
Pathfinder, well, I mean, Pathfinder and 3.5 are both very micromanaging and bookkeepy for various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I counted the number of skills. Pathfinder 2 has 17 skills. But if you compared it to Pathfinder 1 or 3.5, the acrobatic skill does something that you'd have like 5 or 6 different skills for previously. Because you'd have balance, escape artist, tumble.
So it's turned redundant skills into actions that you can do with the one actual skill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would that make it then the same thing but different? Or is it not, because you don't have to worry about putting ranks or whatever in the separate skills? You just have to worry about putting it in the mother skill.
I think it makes things a lot easier with the fewer skills, because of what you said.
Okay. Also, it looks like silver pieces are the predominant coinage that are used.
Silver pieces dominant coinage now.
Okay.
They wanted gold to actually be worth something.
Okay. Identifying or learning a spell. So this is with Arcana. Read magic, athletics. You can go through grapple, high jump, trip, long jump, shove, swim. There's all sorts of actions you can take that are available to you, even if you're untrained. So all of this is kind of, keep it up in your noggin, or make notes, or print out power cards, or do what you'd like to do. Because this is just a way of saying, well, you can do these things, even if you are not especially good at it, you can still attempt it. It does give you an idea of what you can do, Coffee Cat Comics. So crafting, here's a table on that. Successes and failures. Deception. Getting formulas. Deception, intimidation, diplomacy. And again, you're getting lists of keywords. If you want to coerce someone, this is auditory, concentration, emotion, lingual, and mental as the adjectives here. With threats either veiled or overt, you attempt to intimidate a creature into doing what you want. You must spend at least 1 minute of conversation with a creature you can see and who can either see or sense you. At the end of the conversation, you attempt an intimidation check against the target's will DC, modified by the circumstances at the GM's discretion. The attitudes referenced in the effects are listed in the conditions. See page 318. And there is a lot of table cross-referencing, too. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I would rather actually have table cross-references if it's invoking it. But there are definitely appendices and tables that these skills and other things are going to reference you to later for you to get more information on them, as they might only appear as a blurb early on. So here we have our 4 degrees. If you're successful, the target gives you the information you seek or agrees to follow your directives, so long as they aren't likely to harm the target in any way. The target continues to comply for an amount of time determined by the GM, but not exceeding 1 day. That seems kind of arbitrary, but at which point the target becomes unfriendly, if it wasn't already unfriendly or hostile, and might act against you, including reporting you to the authorities. Critical success. Per a success, but even afterward, the target is too scared of you to retaliate against you. Failure. The target doesn't do what you say, and if it was not already unfriendly or hostile, it becomes so. Or critical failure. The target doesn't attempt the request, becomes hostile if it wasn't already, and can't be coerced by you for at least a week. Kramer, you want to take Coffee Cat's question?
Does Pathfinder have an equivalent to a DM? Yes. The DM's guide is called the Game Master Guide, and the Monster Manual is called the Bestiary.
There you go. So you can, with Intimidation, Coerce, you can Demoralize, which has its own set of, target becomes frightened 1. So here are, like, mechanical combat, so you could do this in combat if you wanted to, right? There's various lores you'll get, trades, medicine, you can administer first aid. Looks like there's either a success or a critical failure, so there's not necessarily a regular failure or a super success that's available. Unless, I guess, the GM overrides that. And then again, if you come to the point where your GM is constantly overriding the skills, okay. D&D takes flack because it's a very binary, did you succeed or did you not succeed? And that's really what D&D checks for. So this is trying to institute, look, you can actually do better and more. Although this could very well be anecdotal, and this is something I think Fluffy Sheep brought up last night. I think many DMs, even if there's not hard rules for critical successes or failures, impose such rewards or penalties if a DC is missed by 5 or more, or 10 or more, or something along those lines. Or in case a 20 or a 1 is rolled, even though a 20 or a 1 on a skill check is not necessarily an instant success or an instant failure.
It is now.
Well, in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
In 5th edition, unless I'm missing something, rolling a 20 on a check is not an automatic success. It's just
you're
a
not
20.
missing anything there.
Yeah. All right, so here you can earn some silver performing, which don't tell anyone, but having silver as your main form of currency is actually really bad from a metallurgical standpoint, because it tarnishes and it breaks down, and a bunch of people are getting their body oil and their sweat, and they're swimming in water, and they're having, I don't know, like monsters puke on them or whatever. You know, you're getting the blood of your enemies all over your coins. Silver's not a good is not a good trade commodity. Gold is actually better.
Well,
oh, go ahead.
When Paizo did a live stream talking about why they chose silver over gold, their whole reasoning was they wanted gold to be actually worth something.
Oh, no, I get that sentimentally. I'm just talking from, this is me bringing stupid real life stuff into a fantasy game.
Yeah, I know.
It's just that silver actually tarnishes and breaks down. And so having silver as your main form of currency, it would be like actually having your dollar bills or an equivalent wherever you're from be made of paper and not of a special blend of cotton. Because they would just get destroyed pretty quickly over time.
If what I've heard is correct, Australia, their dollar bills are actually made of plastic.
Oh. Let's check, actually. We do have a fair amount of Australian members. Oh, Alzy's not on. Alzy B was on earlier, and could confirm or deny that. Shoot, do we have anyone else from Down Under? Is that lame? Like, hearing people say that, saying, "Are you from Down Under?" Is that, like, patronizing or lame, or like, wow, people still say that? I would love to know. What about silver coins mixed with lead to help out or to be hard to fake? I mean, maybe an alloy or something, right? If you're carrying around lead, that could lead to, lead poisoning among the general populace, I guess. But Robert, thank you very much. Run, follow me if you want to live. Oh, wait, you already have. Coffee Cat says, for me, a 20 does not magically give a PC information they would never be able to know. Yeah, they still have to meet certain thresholds, right, Coffee Cat? Let's see. Handle animal, recall knowledge, nature. Oh, here's an example of trading. What is this for? Harsk is a 3rd level ranger and an expert at harvesting and brewing tea. He has a tea lore bonus of +5. He has 30 days of downtime at his disposal and decides to work at a prestigious local tea house. The GM decides that this is a 5th...
Saw that coming.
What? Oh, shoot. Sorry. I dreamt I was doing a hard economics program in a role-playing game. All right, let's get back to this. Oh, shoot.
I did get a response. I did get a response from one of my friends about the money thing.
Okay.
I asked her what's Australian money made out of. She said polymer, so plastic.
Okay.
It's waterproof, tear resistant, difficult to counterfeit, and recyclable.
All right, then. Seraph, thank you very much for the compliment. I am doing very well, thank you. Zulurpai, Canadian bills are plastic as well. We are moving into the future. No longer do we have metallurgical money, nor even money derived from cotton, nature itself. Now, truly, our currency is completely man-made and completely a figment of our imaginations.
Yeah, look at debit cards.
Well, there's that too. This is side commentary into the fiat money system. Speaking of economics in role-playing, nah, I'm not going to get into it. Our money is only worth anything because we all pretend we have a mass hallucination that we actually believe it is worth something. That's the only magic is real. And if you doubt it, you take a colored piece of plastic or cotton out of your pocket and you trade it to someone else who will give you something for that made-up imaginary piece of plastic or cotton. You want to talk about casting magical spells and about... Anyway, I have gotten off on a socioeconomic tangent when I am talking about a trade example about a level 3 character with T-lore bonus of +5. So pardon me. Coffee Cat says, I had a Hermit Outlander character roll a natural 20 on trying to identify the origin of a magic crystal, and they asked if it came from a black market in the city, and was upset when I told them that they have no experience with the underground and wouldn't have any idea. Yes, Coffee Cat, I agree, and I would support that style of storytelling and DMing. Though make sure, as a DM, if you close a door, open a window. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's get back before my... I actually taught economics for a year. Harsk is a 3rd level ranger and an expert at harvesting and brewing tea. He has a T-lore bonus of +... I wonder if I explained it to my students like this. If it would have made more sense, or if they would have just kind of scratched their heads and thought ill of me. Anyway, a T-lore bonus of +5. He has 30 days of downtime at his disposal and decides to work at a prestigious local tea house. The GM decides this is a 5th level task if Harsk wants to assist the tea master, or a 2nd level task if he wants to serve tea. Harsk chooses the tougher task, and the GM secretly sets the DC at 18. Harsk spends 6 days training up and starting his job, since his task is 2 levels higher than him. He rolls a 6 on his T-lore check for a result of 1. Poor Harsk has failed. He earns only 2 silver pieces for his efforts for that week. The GM gives a choice. Harsk can either lower his ambitions and move over to serving in the tea house, or work with a tea master for 3 more days before searching for a new job. Harsk, now more aware of his own capabilities, accepts the less prestigious job for now. He spends 4 days preparing for his new job and attempts a new T-lore check against DC 13. Rolling an 18, he gets a result of 23, a critical success. He earns 4 silver pieces per day, like a success on a 3rd level task. The GM rules that demand will be high enough that Harsk can work there for the remaining 20 days of his downtime if he so chooses. Harsk accepts and pulls in a total of 86 silver pieces of that month. Did you all get that? There will be a test at the end of the lecture.
You know what? I'm with you on that one, Sarah. Like, I keep saying, you should never put rules in front of story. If a character doesn't know something because they just wouldn't know it, don't even bother making them roll.
Yes. Actually, I was going to ask, we're already in skills. Does Pathfinder first, or even, did I miss something in second? Are there passives in Pathfinder?
You can take a 10, or take a 20.
Okay, so kind of like a passive.
Yeah.
Okay.
All it really is you take a 10. Well, taking a 10 actually exists in Pathfinder 2, but you'll get to that eventually.
Okay.
You take a 10 and you're treated as if the roll was a 10, and then you add your bonus. You take a 20, same thing. I do believe the typical thing, though, is that if you take a 20, it's considered to have taken 20 times longer to do.
So you have the luxury of time.
Assuming you have the luxury of time.
Yeah.
Because you can't take it. You wouldn't be able to take a 20 on on picking a lock when you're about to be attacked.
Speaking of, here's pick a lock.
Speaking of which.
Yeah. All right, so I'm not going to go over everything you can do with every skill, every action, every reaction, and whether you're trained or untrained in that skill. Needless to say, you have plenty of options to go over and memorize or make into cards and reference or do whatever you will in order to learn these actions that are available for you to take throughout the course of playing. And this would bring us over to general feats.
It's like 3 o'clock now.
Let's see how long this is. We don't have to go through every feat, but if we get an idea.
That first section that you just passed, that is your list of non-skill feats. Everything else is a skill feat. But all the feats are listed alphabetically after the charts.
Okay. Oh, I skipped over equipment. All right. Let's at least touch on feats and how the concept of feats work in second edition, and we can go over a couple feats also just to see the specific verbiage. 1 second, getting through the list. Here we go. Some abilities require a degree of training but can be learned by anyone, not only members of certain ancestries or classes. These abilities are called general feats. For most classes, you gain a general feat when you reach 3rd level and every 4 levels thereafter. You can select any feat whose prerequisites you satisfy. General feats also include skill feats, which expand on what you can accomplish via skills. Most characters gain skill feats at 2nd level and every 2 levels thereafter. See your class for more details. Limitations may apply, etc., so forth.
Some assembly required.
Yeah, some assembly required. Batteries not included. Must have ticket ready when presenting. All right, so go ahead.
The cool thing, though, is that a lot of the skill feats are also general feats. So if you don't feel like taking a regular general feat when you'd be allowed it, you can just instead be like, I'll just take this skill feat instead at this level.
Yeah, so I see some level prerequisites. Most of these are 1. There's a couple 2s and a 7. Oh, there's a 15. To become a legendary contortionist.
Yeah, when you start getting into skill feats, you start getting into the feats that require master and legendary training in a skill.
Yeah. Adopted ancestry, alertness, ancestral paragon. And there are some prereqs. Fast recovery, you need a con of 14. Feather step is a dex of 14. Varying skill feats, acrobatic. Okay. Arcana. So yeah, now we're getting into... So look at this. Coffee Cat, you want options? Not only were there 7... If you're trained in acrobatics, there are 7 things that you can do normally with the acrobatics skill. And if you want a character that is all about... is an acrobat through and through... Race, class, background, every feat slot you want. All acrobatic feats must go. Look at this. You can then invest your feats and increase the amount of things that you can do with acrobatics. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do 6 more things. So you can adventure over 12 levels of your character and take every acrobatic skill feat in order to improve your acrobatics even further so that you are an acrobatic madman. You actually get to the point where you don't contort. You fold space-time around you. I'm kind of making that last one up, but it makes for some dramatic storytelling. But yeah, look, so catfall, steady balance, nimble crawl, quick squeeze, kip up, and legendary contortionist. And so therefore a character, you have an identical twin who is the same in every single way, except you take your acrobatic skill feats and your evil twin or your good twin or your in-between twin goes with athletics and takes 7 of the umpteen athletics feats. You two are still going to be different characters because one of you went all, loosey-goosey, nimbly-bimbly, whatever, and the other one is just it has too much bulk. Way too much bulk. And so you can Coffee Cat, you can super-de-duper specialize your character in Pathfinder. And I'm not accenting that again to be a sarcastic, pardon my French Canadian, but an a-hole. E-H-H-O-L-E. And so, you can super specialize and you can be a superhuman, a super bard, and a super contortionist. If you really want. Yes, super customized for sure. And look, crafting, deception, diplomacy, intimidation. You want charts? We got charts for days. Charts for days here. And then here is the big old, here's the big old written out. You want alertness? You remain alert to threats around you. You gain expert proficiency in perception.
Of course, just like any role-playing game, if you become super, super good at, we'll say, athletic or acrobatic...
Charts the game.
You're bad at a lot of other things.
Actually, my headphones just died, so I cannot hear any commentary going on right now. Give me uno momento, por favor.
I like charts, Coffee Cat, so this is the best game for me.
Okay, I am back. I can hear again. It has drawbacks, but you know what? If you hit that one condition, you can be the super-de-duperest person to do that. And so you can super specialized build for the campaign you're in, or you can be a generalist and just, a little from column A, a little from column B, and there you go. Oh, I agree, Coffee. I agree. A confabulator. Even after you're caught in falsehoods, you pile lie upon lie. Reduce the bonus of the target gets for your previous attempts to create a diversion or lie to it from +4 to +2. If you're a master in deception. Yeah. If you're a master in deception, reduce the bonus to +1. If you're legendary, your web of lies is so effective that your targets don't get bonuses at all.
I didn't actually say what I said at the last press conference.
So, I mean, look, yeah. Coffee, look how super specialized you get. You're trained in climbing techniques that allow you to twist and weave as you climb without sacrificing your grip. You're not flat-footed while climbing. very specific. Is that going to come up in every campaign or even every session of every campaign? No, but you know what? Confound it. Consarn it. You can take it, and you can be the best, you know, dadgum climber there ever is, was, or could be. Glad Hand, Featherstep, Fleet, Foil Senses, Group Coercion, Group Immersion, Hefty Hauler, Kip Up, Lasting Coercion. Okay, so there are feats for days. Feats for days. I'm not going to go over all of them, but look, if you can conceivably do something in a game and you want to fill one of your feat slots, it seems like you can do it. This game has taken a lot of circumstances into consideration.
Yeah,
Is first edition like this too, where they have all this kind of like super specialized stuff, like a feat for every occasion?
Hell no.
No?
No, in first edition Pathfinder, it was the feats were mainly just like you get a bonus to these 2 skills, you get an extra attack, sacrifice attack for damage, just like 3.5. It wasn't this specialized.
Okay. Seraph, why walk when you can backflip? You know, Seraph, that is how you speed run a campaign. Those are the secret strats. Because you actually secretly move faster when you're rolling or flipping. Fluffy Sheep, since you get more feats, you can kind of afford to spend some... Exactly. Fluffy Sheep with the fluffy feats, you are correct. Because it starts at X level, and then every Y levels thereafter, you're getting some kind of a feat to continuously develop your character, to make it more goblin than goblin, to make it more cleric than cleric, and to make it more skilly than skilly. That's right, Seraph. Rolling will get you to places faster. However, the super secret tech comes in that if you do play an alchemist, you plant a bomb and you hold a shield out in front of you, and then you can just hess all around the map at a very good speed. Coffee Cat, I would give those all read for ideas on how to set difficulty. Yeah, I mean, looking over all this to see what ultimately all is available to you, this book is going to be good for just, look, open the book up and read something. Because I think there's going to be something in there every time you open up this book. You could play this game for a good long while, and you'll probably still find combos. You'll probably still find, you know, even things that you want to patch, quote-unquote, or homebrew. It'll be... It's a process of discovery, and if you want to learn how to swim, you got to jump in the water. That is super secret awesomeness, and that is why I'm I appreciate it. I think that there are better DMs than I, but I will take the compliment all the same, Seraph.
What she's also saying is you need to start making money from DMing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, replayability is definitely huge, and one of the cool things that they did with Pathfinder Second Edition is, like Matt said, with the each of your twins having different specialty skills. You know, you can customize your character to pretty much do whatever. You know, just take one skill feat for each skill. You know, you become what's the phrase? Good at all things, master of none, or something like that.
Oh, the jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, that.
King, there's probably a chart for that on here. Actually, I think here it is. It's shameless request. You can... You can downplay the potential consequences or outrageousness of your request through sheer brazenness and charm. When requesting something with a capital R, so if it's a capital, it means that this is its own vocabulary word. When requesting something, you treat a critical failure as a normal failure.
How would one random gen a character for this? We're working on it.
Yeah, Coffee Cat, you will see it happen. You will see this happen. And it'll be a glorious, beautiful, horrible monster, I assure you.
It'll be a long document, too.
Yes. I think creating a random character in Pathfinder will not take an hour or so that it normally takes us for D&D 5e. And in all honesty, if you do the random character creation, if I wasn't narrating to you or seeking your input or answering questions or asking questions of you, you could knock out a character in 5th edition in, I don't know, maybe a half hour or so. Maybe even less if you're really good at it. Coffee Cat looks forward to this monstrosity. I hope I will not fail you, Coffee Cat. So you can, there's spell thievery. So yeah, you could just mine now. Mine. If you use palm an object or steal an object on a scroll, spell book, or similar item, you can remove the magical writing without disturbing the parchment or other surface it was inscribed upon. When you do, you must have a blank scroll or page in your possession that you can transfer the magical writing onto, or else the magic is expended and lost. The GM usually applies a penalty to observers' perception checks and DCs to notice the theft, unless the writing is on open display. In the case of an unfurled scroll, for example, you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your check because you don't need to collect the entire object. However, higher level magic is harder to steal and the DC is increased by the spell level. So, by level 7, you can steal magical ink words off of one parchment and slap it into the next.
You become a Final Fantasy Blue Mage.
Or you become what Nicolas Cage would love to be in, why am I forgetting? National Treasure. You're going to sleep now? All right, Coffee Cat, have an awesome night. We'll be winding things down here in a little bit, and we're going to find someone to raid here soon. Delcorin waves to everyone with gusto. I see you took the feat, Delcorin. Golden spell thievery seems really strong, question mark?
It seems strong, but look at what you need to be able to take it.
You have to be a master in thievery.
Which means alone, thievery has to be a signature skill for you. And I think only 2, potentially 3 classes can do that.
And then you have to use palm an object or steal an object on a scroll, spell book, or similar item. But so the prerequisite is just being a master in thievery. And then under thievery, you use palm or steal an object as an action. And if you have this feat, you can then steal the magical dried ink off of a page. How about that? Now, out of curiosity, for you, Kramer, or for any of you out there who are watching, let's say that a thief breaks into a museum that has an anti-magic field going on, and there's a scroll on display. This is listed as a general skill, but would you allow, inside an anti-magic zone, would you allow spell thievery to be able to occur, or would you say that it could not?
As a DM, I'd say no.
Because this is just too, like, absurd that it seems like it's like a meta magic or like some kind of a spell-like ability?
I would say, yeah, it seems like a spell-like ability to be able to erase a spell from one scroll and copy it to something else.
And if any of you out there in Chatland, consider that. Because you know where this is going to go next? Because you might have that guy sitting at your table and go, actually, I am not using any magic. All I'm doing is using a skill with no magical keywords. So, yeah, I think I'm going to be taking my scroll now.
Yeah, but again, that goes back to the whole put the story ahead of the rules.
Actually, rules as written and even rules as intended are on my side, actually.
Well, not to name names, then I'd be asking why the heck Kurt's playing at my table. But again, rules ahead of story, and if they want to use rules as written, they can, in my opinion, find a game where the DM just uses the rules as written.
Actually, and your face turns red, and the vein starts throbbing as he holds that E, and then finally, just something occurs, which is probably everyone else comes to their senses as to someone who's being absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
King says, this is what you get for abandoning the extraordinary and supernatural dichotomy. Seraph says, actually, lightning just struck and you need to roll to avoid heart attack. On the part of the DM to the PC, I imagine. King says, this is one of those moments you'd sit there going, I picked this feat specifically for this kind of thing, and feel cheated and put upon. And then you'd flip the table. Golden says, why would you argue with the DM? You're there to have a good time. Oh, Golden, my sweet, innocent summer child. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, because,
I agree with you, Golden. That is a beautifully innocent question. Why would anyone argue with your DM? Because you're there to roleplay and have a good time. And if anyone out there wants to give a reason why, I can only just look at Golden and be like, your innocence in role-playing is so fleeting, my child. You...
What? I mean, what you do also is, if they argue with you about why you can't use spell thievery in an anti-magic field, or what if they argue with you on this, then later on, if they fight a kraken and they want to fireball it, you say, well, as soon as the fireball hits the water, it dissipates.
Yeah. Yeah, so King answered very much because your DM is wrong and needs to pay for his sins. That is the exact proper answer to that question. And you can stop Golden and you can blink and be like, is this guy whacked out of his gourd? And the answer is yes. Yes, he is. Because you'll get answers like that. And yet, at the same time, and look, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Well, I guess Lich's advocate, because this is King. King is actually making a very good point, whether you want him to or not, thereby making him an excellent villain archetype in your next campaign. Okay? Why would your DM take away your feat that you specifically built for that does not invoke magic, yet allows you to manipulate magic even inside an anti-magic dome? Because did you talk about this very specific circumstance that is occurring in session 0 of your campaign 6 months ago? And whether you like, I have my chat and my webcam reversed. I'm used to it being over here. But over here, King is actually bringing up a very interesting point. And remember, this is a playtest version of these rules. You could encounter something like this where you are DMing, and you have a friend, you know, even a good friend, and he wants to build this like arcane trickster, a guy who's like this magical rogue, and he takes spell thievery. And this can occur. And your friend is going to look at you and be like, well, no. I assure you, there's nothing in this feat that says that magic is needed to take a magical item and to make another magical item with it. So it should still work even in anti-magic zone. I know, it sounds kind of weird. And you as a DM go, no, it doesn't work. And your player's like, what? Like, do I got to get like a 5 higher? I mean, I'll re-roll. Come on. And you just look at him completely baffled, like, what are you doing? I'm using my feat. I slotted this. I took this feat on top of Master Thievery, and I used the proper Palman object and all this other stuff. Everything is set. My feat happens. But you go, but this is an anti-magic zone, and your friend goes, this isn't magical. And then you say, you're removing ink from a parchment and you're putting it on another one. Even Nicolas Cage would want to do this in whatever that movie was called, National Treasure. And then your friend goes, I understand, there's nothing magical about my feat. It should work in an anti-magic zone. And unfortunately, this can happen. Either in a public game or a private game among friends or family. And then it gets awkward. Unless you have the ability to step up as a DM, or if you are going to be a humble player, but I don't think we're playing with that as a play option, and say, okay. We'll play it where it lies. I was mistaken. I see your point. It's not worth arguing over. I like being friends with you, even if not right now. Oh, what? Oh, no, nothing. You magically take the ink from one scroll. Or you non-magically remove magical ink from a scroll and non-magically create a magical scroll with it. There you go. Congratulations. It is yours. And the game continues. And then you post about it on Facebook. No, just don't do that. That makes it worse.
Well, you gotta remember too. Yeah, you copied the scroll. Still gotta be able to read it.
Fluffy Sheep Twitch Prime gives you a table to flip and proceeds to flip the table. Yeah. Seraph, it's true, no matter the rules or tabletop, we'll always need to stop and think about things. No worries, magical weapons from the sky can solve all disputes, then banish the feat forever. King says you could take a scalpel and peel away the top layer of the page. Yeah, don't post that on Facebook, post it on Reddit. And then glue it to the new scroll.
Problem is that there's already precedent on if you damage a magic item, it is immediately destroyed.
And King is saying it also depends on how Pathfinder 2 stats out its anti-magic zone. But I think it still served as a very good living lesson, by the way. Especially in a game where you're taking months out of your life to play with your friends. I know that sounds like a chore. You're taking months out of your life to play with your friends. You're given the option to build a super specialized, super de-duper over-the-top character. And in a world of generalities, a broad blanket is cast over your super de-duper specializedness, and your snowflake quickly melts. And
MacGyver?
And what do, right? King says, can't cast spells is a bit different from can't do weird ink transfers. So yeah, I mean, maybe King came up with a mutually agreed upon solution that somehow doesn't violate, you know, what Kramer said about if you damage a magic item like a scroll, it gets destroyed. Fluffy Sheep, just how big is this anti-magic zone? You can't just carry the scroll out of it? Fluffy Sheep, there's an anti-magic field. There's also an anti-weird ink transfer field. You don't know, Fluffy Sheep! You don't know!
Well, if the feat is disallowed, Zulerpi or Zulerpi, if the feat is disallowed, the DM should mention it long before a player says, "I want to take this."
Yes. I would agree. Or if not, the GM should be willing to make on-the-fly arbitration decisions regarding super specialization in the face of general context. So you either have a point-by-point detailed conversation way beforehand, or you have an ongoing negotiation open tabletop. Does that sound reasonable?
Sounds reasonable to me.
Delcorn says, buy a copy of the scroll at the museum gift shop, do a quick swap, and everything's good. Yeah. It was implied because I was bringing up National Treasure. So Delcorin, you are not necessarily incorrect.
I'm actually looking up the description of anti-magic field just to be on the safe side. It
sure, hey,
says,
well, maybe we accidentally discovered the big loophole in the playtest. Does spell thievery work in an anti-magic zone?
It actually says in an anti-magic field, magic items do not function. So you have a scroll, but it's just a scroll because it's not magical in an anti-magic field.
Actually, so you're saying that I can't take normal ink and put it onto normal paper when I can take magic ink and scrolls and put it onto magic paper?
Wow, really?
Hey, hashtag just saying. Well, then I cast anti-magic field right on the edge of the anti-magic field. Touche, salesman.
Actually, there is no anti-magic field spell. So, yeah.
Stop ruining my fun.
I'm a fun ruiner. I'm sorry.
Oh, gosh. Oh, by gosh, by golly. Oh.
Nope. Anti-magic field, Fox only, final destination.
All right. I think it's 3:30 in the AM. Oh. Yep, King found it. Thank you, King. At some point in your role-playing career, this is going to happen. It may not happen now. It may not happen in your next game. It might not happen until 5 years from now. You will have an actually at your table at some point in time. I assure you, it's a rite of passage. Don't look at it with dread. Did Worf look at his ascent to manhood via the gauntlet of pain sticks with dread? No. You must suffer the gauntlet of actually sticks. And when you come out battered, bruised, weary, racked with pain, and perhaps slightly scarred for the rest of your life, you will be a better role player. Because you have gone through the gauntlet.
The paint sticks aren't as bad as the actually sticks.
Actually, Worf never went through the ceremony. It was all done on the holodeck, which shouldn't count because they weren't actual Klingons. So, actually, Worf never attained manhood, according to Klingon tradition.
It also never said if the safety protocols were on or off.
Actually!
Don't make me come downstairs.
So Delcorn would politely refuse to play with that guy. Golden, DMs make the story up and create the world, don't they? So if they wanted, couldn't they just make a dragon come along and kill the whole group? Or I don't know, have some banshee with magic powers that erase magic come along and fix the issue? Those are drastic examples, but what I'm getting at is couldn't the DM... Golden, yes. Conceptually, yes, actually. You are the storyteller, the game master, the dungeon master. And you are the final rules arbitrator, and hopefully you're not a bad one. Now, you can run across DMs that go, well, but this is my game, and you all can just go home because it's my world and my story, and I'm just letting you play in it. You can get DMs that do that. And in which case, you get up and you say, live alone in your world, little man. Or woman. It's yours. No one else wants it. And then, of course, as Delcorin said, when you have an actually on the screen like this, you can get up and politely say, you know what? I'm not having fun in this play group. You all have fun. Enjoy yourselves. Hey, you know, DM, thank you for running. Nothing personal against you. I'm just not enjoying it. It's not the best use of my time. Thank you, everyone. You can have the rest of the pizza. I don't need my level 10 spell. Have a great night. Yes, the pain sticks aren't as bad as the actually sticks, Fluffy Sheep. King says, you'd think DMs were so potent, Golden, that they'd foresee this sort of thing coming and not muck it up. Illumines, you missed a lot. In fact, the image you see on screen is an excellent summary of tonight. Zuler Pie, so the DM invokes a ghost with Spell Thief that steals the stolen spell, problem solved. Layers upon layers of intrigue. Seraph, I guess those rules were written late at night without coffee. Oh no, it doesn't look good, says Illumines. Actually... Oh gosh. I'm moving my display while I'm at it. There we go. A little bit of movie magic, everyone. There we go. Yeah, you're getting mixed feelings about the picture. Illumines, we have had an amazing journey tonight in conversation. It has been a lot of fun. It has taken us to some very weird places. It has caused us to have a conundrum in the midst of a playtest. And again, I'll remind everyone, this is playtest material. This is beta test. This is Unearthed Arcana, if you will. What did you guys go through? We finished the classes, and then we went through the abilities, and lastly, we are in the feat sections.
TLDR, Maddie passed out for 2 hours being bored to tears by Pathfinder 2E, puts the gun down, finds joy in life once more by evoking ancient memes.
Illumines, if feat selections get your motor running, this is the system to play. And I say that with all due respect towards Paizo and Pathfinder. Because this game is feats galore, it is super customization. It is, you want feats for your race, you want feats for your class, you want feats for your feats, or your abilities. Or maybe even feats for your feats, because there's prerequisites. You got them. All day a day, Illumines. Zuler Pie, we got cold feet and had to stop. I think what got me running is different ways to use spells. Oh, you know what? So we are probably going to get to that tomorrow, question mark? We will probably get to that tomorrow. Let's see. Equipment, yeah. Tomorrow for sure, Illumines. We're going to do equipment, spells, and then we can get into maybe the advancement options, or even tickling playing the game.
Advancement is actually crazy simple, at least how you level.
Okay.
It's literally 1000 XP per level.
Oh, all right then.
How to reward it is a completely different animal.
Oh. Well, then we'll get into those weeds tomorrow. I'm going to finish things up. I'm going to finish things up here. Let's go give someone a raid. Who do we have? Who do we have? We have anyone in the community? Yes, we do. We have 2 members of the community. Let's see. We have Cameron, who's actually a newcomer to the community, and Faster Tooth, who's been around. Faster Tooth is playing Fortnite. Cameron is playing 7 Days to Die. So we have two people who've been a part of the community that are streaming. Let's go raid them and say hi. Do you want to watch? Do you want to go watch and give a Maddie raid to someone playing 7 Days to Die or someone playing Fortnite? 7 Days or Fortnite. Looks like Delcorn is voting 7 Days to Die. Anyone else out there? Let's go support someone who's a member of our own community. Zuler Pie, 7 Days to Die. Okay. Do I have a third? King, I don't know what 7 Days to Die is, so that. Okay, let's go raid Cameron. Unless Fortnite is a girl. Fortnite is not a girl, no. All right, everyone, here we go. Put on your raid helmets if they look like Viking helmets or football helmets or hand egg helmets. You only want to raid cute girls. Anything else is a waste. All right. Well then, King. I'll see you next time. Let's go say hi to Cameron and give him a good old Maddie raid.